Okay, this is where you left off, creating a Diamante poem. We're going to look at a few more kinds of poems. The first is called Look for Birds by Janet Long. Follow along while I read it. It could be worse. It is worse somewhere for someone. Today will blend into tomorrow. Tomorrow will become next week. Everything's happening now will become just one page in a history book in 100 years. Let's look out the window. Come, let's look for birds. And on this page, there are 3 poems by Shel Silverstein, a poet that we've looked at a few times this week already. The first is called Tell Me. Tell me I'm clever. Tell me I'm kind. Tell me I'm talented. Tell me I'm cute. Tell me I'm sensitive, graceful, and wise. Tell me I'm perfect, but tell me the truth. The next is a very short poem called Stone Airplane. I made an airplane out of stone. I always did like staying home. And then finally a poem called I Don't Know. I don't know how anything's done. Does the earth turn or is it the sun? Is electricity made by a kite? Are star twinkles just a reflection of light? How thunder is made and how engines run. I don't know how anything's done. Right, we're about to watch a video called To Make a Hexaflexagon, and I want you to pick a poem that you will keep in your pocket. After you learn how to make a hexaflexagon, you'll write your poem on the hexaflexagon. She is going to explain all the instructions of making it and describes it basically as an old-time fidget spinner. You do need a piece of paper, and I recommend you get it before you start watching the video. It doesn't have to be completely blank. It could be a light sheet of paper, but it should not have anything printed on it because when you're done, you'll need to write your poem on it.
So back in the day, we had to make our own fidget toys, and to make a hexaflexagon, all you need is 30 seconds and a scrap of paper, if you know how, which is probably why this is my #1 most requested video. So today I'm going to show you my hexaflexagon techniques. Now, the goal is to be able to create one instantly, anytime, anywhere, without scissors, tape, or glue. But to build your hexaflexa skills, you can start with a printable pattern such as this one. The essence of a hexaflexagon is 9 triangles in a twisty loop, and you can use 10 triangles if you glue the last to the first, or use 9 if you're using tape. Having a pattern is helpful for folding perfect equilateral triangles, and also it's easier to fold the finished shape if you have your mountains and valleys in a row. Dotted lines are valley folds, and dashed lines are mountain folds. And you can check that all your triangles are happy and accurate by folding them back and forth on top of each other and seeing that they all line up. The #1 place people go wrong is when folding and taping the loop together, and here's where the mountain folds can help you do it right. It is of vital importance that the 3 flappy bits be symmetrically arranged all triangle-like. If you've got a flappy flap that goes all the way straight across a hexagon, or 2 flappy bits right next to each other, just try again. Then finally, tape the first and last triangle together around the edge, or sometimes you'll get a case where you tape them across the side, or if you're using glue, then just flap that flap on over and glue that whole 10th triangle to the first triangle. Just try not to accidentally tape or glue together anything else. If your creases are strong, they will guide you in the hexaflexagon's construction and also in its use, where you pop up the center and pinch the sides together in a 3-fold way and open it up from the center. The great thing about hexaflexagons is that, aside from their fidgetability, they also offer an opportunity for doodling, drawing, and decorating, and here's where this more robust fold-over design can help, especially if you have markers that bleed through your paper. It's also a great way to hide the template lines after you've made your creases, and once that's together, you can color both sides however you want to, and also the third side however you want to. Okay, so once you have a feel for that, it'll be easier to do it without the pattern or scissors. The first trick is getting a nice even strip of paper, which you can do by folding the edge off of the page and making sure the edge lines up on both sides, creasing firmly. And I like to crease back and forth a couple times so that it tears off without too much trouble. Now here's what some consider the hardest part: getting your first triangle, which means getting a perfect 60-degree angle. If you have any equilateral triangles around, you can just copy off of them, but if not, here's what you do. First, fold your best guess and crease only very lightly. Then fold along the edge and see if things line up. When they do line up, you should be able to see the triangliness of your folds, but they probably won't line up the first time, and so you adjust back and forth until it does. When you get a feel for it, you should be able to do most of the adjusting while you're making your first creases. It just takes a little practice. You can also work on your triangle folding skills by using a pattern, but pretending there's no pattern. Okay, so the great thing about 60-degree angles is that once you've got one, they self-replicate. You can keep folding along the lines and just try to keep it so that the edges line up and the corners line up as much as possible. And you only need 9 triangles, so remove the extra and you're ready to go. And going freehand, you might end up with the twisty loop connecting at the edge or in the middle, and it could be right-handed or left-handed. It's all good. A major pitfall for hexaflexigation is not getting enough triangles because your strip is too wide for its length. When you're decorating, you might get that bleed through problem again, but you can start with a doubled over strip of paper and you're ready for arts. I'm gonna do leaves and flowers and roots, check it out. Ooh, or you could put secret notes in the middle, so secret. If you have no paper or glue, you can keep the strip extra long and wrap it around extra, and if you flexigate with precision and control, you can keep the ends from flapping out, or maybe it falls apart and you have to fold it back together. And then finally, once you really get a feel for things, you can take any scrap of paper and turn it into a strip without needing to cut or tear. You just fold everything in. And you can even skip some of the triangle preparation and instead add the missing creases as you flex it the first few times. Anyway, those are my tricks, and if you want free patterns, they are at viheart.com/hexaflexagons, and if you want to share the joy of flexigation with random people you meet, you can buy this shirt. Yes, I'm finally selling stuff because I'm a full-time Viheart now. They're going to sell out, but if you manage to get one, please carry hexaflexagons with you when you wear it so that you can show the uninitiated if they ask. Or if you don't like talking to people, it's also available as a plain, classy V-neck, curvy cut shirt with the design on the back so the person behind you can learn. And coolest of all, there's a kid-sized version with long sleeves and hexaflexifriends on the front and instructions on the back for whoever sits behind you in class. Or you could just teach them yourself. But the shirts are all 20% off for Black Friday all weekend, all in extended sizes, and yes, they will arrive in time for the holidays. But practice your hexaflexagon skills because you will need them next month. Stay tuned.
Okay, I'm sorry about all those ads, but I hope you learned how to make a hexaflexagon. Your next step for that is to copy your poem that you selected onto your hexaflexagon, and then you'll keep your hexaflexagon with you, and for a Poem in a Pocket Day, you're ready to share to every person you encounter, which most likely is the people in your home. Okay, our next task is to read Bed in Summer, which was written by poet Robert Louis Stevenson, who lived from 1850 to 1894. In winter, I get up at night and dress by yellow candlelight. In summer, quite the other way. I have to go to bed by day. I have to go to bed and see the birds still hopping on the tree, or hear the grown-up people's feet still going past me in the street. And does it not seem hard to you when all the sky is clear and blue? And I should like so much to play, to have to go to bed by day? You'll use this poem to complete our final task, which is a Venn diagram. The directions tell you. In the poem Bed in Summer, the poet compares winter and summer. Think about 2 seasons of winter and summer. How are they the same and how are they different? Complete the Venn diagram below to show your thinking. Okay, I want you to remember that in a Venn diagram, in one part you put terms that only describe the category, and this one is summer. And the opposite side are terms that only describe this category, and here it is winter. And then where the circles overlap in the middle are terms that describe both summer and winter. So those will both go in the middle. I'm not going to stop yet because I want to go over the directions for your next task, which is called Paint Chip Poetry. This is a poem written on a paint chip, which you could find at a store like Lowe's or Home Depot when you're shopping for paint. And there are names of paint, and the author has written terms that lead into the name of paint, and your task is to do the same. So on your paint chip, it starts with the sky at dusk. So you'll need to type a phrase that leads into it. The next is ice on windowsills. So a phrase that leads into it. Then blue dragon eggs. Then waterfall weather. And then when tears become rain. And finally, depth of blue. Those are your last 2 tasks. So when the video stops, you'll go back and remember you have 2 tasks to complete. And then also make sure you complete your hexaflexagon and write on it your poem and have a poem in your pocket all day. And then I'll see you tomorrow on Friday. Have a great Thursday. See you tomorrow.